Hey, I'm Maddie at Querri. The average marketing report done manually takes around 2.5 hours. From pulling together different sources, you spend a lot of time wasting trying to figure out what happened as opposed to adding your own strategic insights. I'm going to show you how to do this with our tool in about 5 to 10 minutes, so you have much more time to focus on the so what and the why. To start, we're just going to connect our data right here. And you can either upload data. I already have mine uploaded, so I have my HubSpot leads, my social ads, search ads, and my GA4 web sessions. And we'll just wait for that data to initialize. So now that our data is loaded in, you can see that we have visual data sets for all four right here, so clicks, conversions, and also we have a quick little summary done by Querri showing us that we have full funnel tracking, the daily snapshots from organic, search ads, social ads, GA4 web sessions, essentially everything we need to generate our weekly report. So before we get there, let's tell Querri just to clean and combine our data. So we're going to say clean and combine across platforms. Okay, so now we can see after just telling Querri to clean and combine, it's standardized both of our data sets. We can see right here. If we click summary, exactly like it just standardized it into a unified performance format where we average 368 in spend and 635 in clicks. And then we have spend by date and channel here, spend with our GA4 web sessions. And then here we have our full funnel of performance, which is exactly what we want to generate that weekly report. So now that we're ready for that, I'm just going to tell Querri to generate the latest week's marketing performance reports. They'll include spend, conversions, CPA, and return on ad spend by channel. Let's also to flag anything that changed more than 15% week over week and explain why. Just to see if we have anything unusual going on with our data that we should be aware of. So we'll send this to Querri. So now we can see that Querri has generated its weekly marketing report for us, as well as flagging any changes higher than 15%. And it's giving us a few issues here, conversion rate collapse, social spend surging, efficiency crisis. But to demonstrate this, let's ask Querri to give me some visuals to explain your summary. So both the spikes week over week and general data. So now, not only does Querri generate these visuals for us, but it also kind of describes the visuals, what's going on right here. So exactly, our spend is surging, but our return on our spend is actually crashing. So if we look at this right here, let's start with this chart, week over week spend comparison. We can see that previous week our search spend, we're spending less, and our social spend is going up. However, if we look at conversions, this is actually backwards. So the previous week is right here. Our conversions are way down, and even though we're spending more on social, our conversions aren't really going up, sort of suggesting that search spending is more important, right? And now we can see our daily spend. So yeah, you can see social is just skyrocketing, and our daily conversions, our social conversions are up one day, but then they're down, even though our spend is skyrocketing. So now let's give them this data. This is where you kind of add your own strategic insights. So now that I have what it's telling me, I have a couple questions. So I want to look at, compare this week's, so our return on ad spend went way up. I want to compare this week's return on ad spend to the average weekly return on ad spend over the last 3 months. Also, let's say we had someone tell us that our meta cost per lead went up on the Tuesday of this week. Someone tell it to also investigate the meta CPL spike on Tuesday. And then one other thing, we saw here that that our search, our conversions are much better than our social relative to our spend. So let's also tell it to look at different search ad campaigns last week and compare them. So now we can see that Querri has generated a couple more data sets to help us analyze. We can look at our return on ad spend over the last week compared to the 3-month average. So search is not doing that bad, but social is pretty doing bad. It's looking almost as if we have a social issue, or maybe we're spending too much. If we look right here, we can look at the cost per lead chart. It's really high on January 27th, but then kind of returns on January 28th. But I kind of want to get a little bit more data for this chart. So I'm going to tell Querri to add more dates and the CPL associated with them to the chart. So what's nice is now we can see that Querri really gave us a better look at the CPL. It did spike on that day, January 27th, all the way up to $80. If we look at the detailed explanation, we'll let Querri generate that and sort of explain a bit of how it generated the data, so you can see that. And then right here you can also see the code it generates. And if we look at the summary, it's telling us that we can see that we're pretty normal across every single other day. So right here, let's just ask it what likely caused that spike. While it investigates that, we can look at the other charts. So right here, we can look at our campaign spend. So comparing what we're spending on brand search versus non-brand search, as well as the clicks and conversions we get for both. So our conversion rate on non-brand search is a little bit better, and our cost per conversion is actually down, even though we are spending more. And then right here we get our return on ad spend last week. Search was not too bad, but social was up. So now that it's investigated the CPL, it's telling us that our retargeting and lookalike website 2 campaigns also kind of just collapsed on one day, pushing it way up, as well as our spend just shooting up in one day. So it's sort of just 3 misunfortunate things happening at once, driving that spend up. So now that we have all those charts and data, let's create a dashboard that we can automate to update every week. So I'm going to tell Querri to generate a weekly updating automated dashboard. And now we can sort of pick and choose what we want to keep inside there. So let's use our meta CPL with a meta CPL visual. Let's do performance by search campaign type visual. And then let's see what else we like. ROS comparison, visuals, as well as let's include CPA, and then let's just include spend and conversions. All right, now we can see that Querri has generated a couple more charts just to help the dashboard. Right here it says dashboard created. We can click on it, and we can see the full funnel data set at the top, the most recent weekly summary, spend comparison by channel, conversions comparison by channel, comparison chart, the meta CPL spike chart, just so we can keep an eye on it, weekly CPA by channel, and then campaign performance over here. And then we can just press automate right here, and we'll have it automate tomorrow at 9 a.m. when we update more data for it, schedule the automation, and should be good to go. And so I really like this dashboard, but let's say I need to present all this data to someone. So I'm going to go back to the chat, and I'm just going to tell Querri to create a presentation going over everything we have in our dashboard. And let's make it a weekly presentation. So now Querri has given us a nice presentation that we can share. Shows us our week at a glance. We can go present to see it. Our return on ad spend. Our meta ads shows our volatility. And we can have this update every single week to help us out. You're able to download this. You also can send stuff out as Excel sheets, a lot of other formats. But that's really just a brief overview on how to take something that usually takes 2.5 hours, your weekly reports, and turn that into a 5 to 10 minute process with the power of Querri.